Hey everyone, welcome back to Week Ahead Astrology Breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and this week there's a lot of very activating transits. We have the Venus Neptune conjunction in Pisces, the Sun Saturn Cazimi in Aquarius, and then of course we're getting ready for that new moon in Pisces, which is going to be happening next Monday. I also want to share a funny story from last week's transit. So on Wednesday, February 8th, the moon in Virgo was opposing Neptune in Pisces. So for lunch, I ordered like this really healthy meal off of Uber Eats. There was like a bone broth and a salad and something else. But I was really excited because I had a full day of work afterwards. And then the delivery person messaged me when they got here and they said, "I'm so sorry. The order spilled on the way over. Everything has been soiled. There's nothing left." And I was upset, obviously, but it's not a big deal. He said that he was going to call Uber Eats on my behalf to refund the order. The order was not refunded. And I thought it was even interesting too, like Moon and Virgo, Moon, our body, nourishment, Neptune, something spilling. I'm assuming it was the bone broth. I got like a big order of it. So that was interesting in terms of that manifestation. And then something very confusing where the order still went through. Nothing really happened as it said it was supposed to. Again, like that Virgo pragmatic energy that we spoke of last week. And then even when I was contacting Uber Eats, they're like, we need a photo, we need photo proof that the order was soiled. I'm like, I literally got no order. There was nothing to take a photo of. And it was like I was talking to a robot, which I've seen videos of on like TikTok when people are getting mad at Uber Eats. And so eventually I just said, I need to speak with someone else. If this order does not get refunded, I'm going to go contact my credit card and report fraud. And then within 10 minutes, they're like, we're so sorry about this. We understand. Here's a full refund plus X amount of credit for your next order. We appreciate you as a customer. So it was very Moon Neptune opposition and also fun. If you ever face that on your end, if Uber is being silly, just contact your credit card company or threaten, because I was about to call Visa because I was not having any of it and it all got rectified the way it needed to. So on that note, let's dive into the week ahead, shall we? So we're starting on Monday, February 13th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I strongly recommend that you get emotionally grounded at the start of the week because the moon in Scorpio is in her fall. We can have really intense emotions. There can be a lot of overwhelm with the moon making a square to the sun in Saturn and Aquarius. However, if we can tune into what we wish to feel, what we wish to experience with the moon making those trines to Venus and Neptune, that will help set us on a beautiful path for the entire week ahead. I also want to encourage if you need support, let's say from a feminine energy or presence, or if you need to take things a bit slower on Monday, that is also recommended. There might be a lot on your plate or a lot that you need to do, but if you can just ask for support, maybe even from a mother or a mother figure, that can really help things move smoother in your favor. Or this could be an energy where you're literally praying for guidance, for clarity, for support, given that we have this moon Neptune energy as well. So if there are things that seem daunting or overwhelming, or that's taking a long time to manifest or call in, be sure that you are asking for support, whether it's physically or from spirit. All right. Now, when we move on to Tuesday, there is a lot happening. One, of course, it's Valentine's Day. So we might be feeling a certain type of way, whether we are in a relationship or not, romantically speaking. However, the one thing I really want to note here, what came through intuitively, is don't jump to conclusions. I think if we're letting our mind do the talking, we may miss out on a lot of beautiful blessings. The moon is very optimistic, very joyful, very happy. It's in a fire sign. It's in Sagittarius, which is great. And the ruler of the moon is Jupiter, which the moon is in trine aspect to. So this is great. There's going to be so many opportunities for blessings and expansion. But please note that the moon is opposing Mars in Gemini. That's what I was saying. If your mind is dictating the show, it's going to be very challenging for you to maybe even experience this or believe that these blessings are possible. And it might just be simply that you are alone or that your partner is away or that you're not at a place in your career that you'd want. However, this Venus-Neptune conjunction gets closer and closer as the day progresses. So be open to miracles, be open to love, be open to what your intuition is telling you. If you can get out of what your mind or old beliefs or old mindsets are trying to dictate, and you lean into the faith, you lean into everything that you've been doing and trusting, that's where the magic is going to happen. Trust and believe. And then also too, Sagittarius rules the legs. So that's why I said don't jump to conclusions or don't act hastily. Let's say if you're expecting something to like snap at someone, or if it doesn't happen the way you want it, lead with kindness. Believe that everyone wants to help you, and this will help Tuesday go significantly easier. When we move to Wednesday, we're still working with that Moon-Mars opposition, but it's getting easier and easier. And we now have that exact Venus-Neptune conjunction while also experiencing the Sun-Saturn cazimi. A cazimi is when a planet is so close to the sun that its energy gets amplified. So this might be what I'm thinking of this Moon, Venus, Neptune square is that it might be an overwhelm of emotions. Sagittarius is known for liking its freedom, being very sometimes emotionally detached or not needing to commit to one thing. But I think if you're wanting to have a conversation with a lover, with a family member, with a colleague about commitment or structure or negotiating something that's going to be long lasting, Wednesday is a phenomenal day to do it, just given that Saturn's energy is amplified and the moon is making a sextile to this energy. So it can kind of be like if you're talking to a friend about something that needs clarity and resolution or to set new boundaries, Wednesday is a great day. If you're talking to your lover or romantic partner about going deeper into the relationship, even potentially marriage, I think there's going to be a lot of marriage proposals on Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. And secondly, all of the transits that are supporting this are like, let's go further. I think the maybe overwhelm or emotional intensity might come from it's like, is this too good to be true? I've wanted all these things my entire life. Can I actually have them? The answer is yes. And there also could be a sense of, well, my partner, that friend, that connection has never responded to me like that before. So how could it be any different now? Well, the astrology is always supporting us. It's always blessing us. And like I said, we still are dealing with the opposition to Mars throughout Wednesday. So this again is why I emphasize on Monday at the start of the week, if you can get emotionally grounded, if you can set emotional intentions of how you wish to feel throughout the week, then those opportunities will present themselves. And also too, if we're talking about Venus-Neptune conjunction, it's not what makes sense. It's about the miraculous love. It's leading with your heart, especially with Venus in Pisces, her exalted sign. It's love conquers all. It's that supreme faith and that intuition that you can't explain to anyone else. Like that's what this energy is. So trust in that. This is a day where you might want to go all in, quote unquote, whatever that means for you. It's like go after what you want and don't let your mind dictate your actions. I will leave it at that. I think you all get the point of how amazing this energy can be. Now, Thursday, the moon in more grounded, pragmatic Capricorn is making a trine to Uranus and Taurus, and also making a square to Jupiter. However, we are getting closer and closer to that dark moon phase, getting ready for the new moon phase that we're going to have once we have that new moon in Pisces. So it might feel like you're wrapping up loose ends, or now there's a lot of things that you're excited for. Like Jupiter is always going to amplify things, expand things. So it might just be an expansion of the heart. It might be you getting excited. There might be, it's like, great, now I'm moving in with my lover, or now I got this new contract at work, or now I have new opportunities to expand. I don't want you to burn yourself out of like saying yes to everything. There probably is going to be a tonal shift or a more grounded focus. I think a shift in energy or a shift in emotions for the better with this moon Uranus trine is very likely on Thursday. So that is going to be great. And then we also see this exact Sun Saturn where it's like almost down to the minute. So this energy of long-term focus, commitment. Also, given that this Sun Saturn cazimi is in Aquarius, co-present Mercury, there's likely to be an energy where your mindset is shifting. So let's say you did have a breakthrough emotionally, or you had a good heart to heart, or you've gone deeper in a relationship, then of course your thoughts are going to be different. Of course, there's going to be new opportunities. Of course, you're going to be seeing life differently, which is phenomenal. So now that grounded energy that we have with the moon in Capricorn can help you succeed, help you go forward with a different tone. And I think any of us, in the past when we've received a declaration of love or when we've reached a breakthrough, it makes the work more enjoyable because there's renewed faith or renewed focus that allows us to go forward. That's what Thursday feels like. So it's a great day to get things off the to-do list with potentially more love or more hope or more clarity in, I was going to say in the trunk, but like in the tank of fuel for cars. But we have this renewed energy that's going to serve us very well. Is there anything else I want to speak on? Yeah, we do have this Mercury Jupiter sextile getting stronger and stronger. So that's always good as well, just for contracts, for business, for opportunities. So if those situations aren't happening yet, expect them to be taking off very soon, whether it be around the weekend or when we get to that Pisces new moon on Monday. So when we get to Friday, we have the moon conjunct Pluto while still getting that energy from Uranus. And then the moon is also making sextiles to Neptune and Venus. So clarity, truth, revelations, breakthroughs, that still continually goes through on Friday. Also, what's kind of intuitively coming through right now as I'm saying this is trust people when they show you who you are or when they show you who they are, but also trust in who you are. If you know you've done so much work, if you've been breaking through boundaries, if you've been investing in yourself, if you've been doing all the things, why would you ever go back? Why would you fear that past circumstances would catch up to you? You've learned the lessons. You've overcome immense obstacles. This could also just be a day where you show yourself how powerful you are. And there are greater truths, there are greater mindsets to now subscribe to. And I've been hearing this a lot from clients around love and intimacy. This is what I'm also thinking. Even if we circle back to this Tuesday, Wednesday, I think there might be potential correspondence from past lovers, and that could add maybe in the overwhelm. Maybe you're about to go to the next step with your current lover, but then someone from the past is still on your mind, and then that might cause confusion. Moon, Neptune square, while also having Mars in opposition to the moon. So I think by Friday, if you're in that position where you're confused, truth will be revealed. And that could even just be your own intuition. We have the moon making a sextile to Neptune. But if there's something on your heart, on your mind, I guarantee you, if you are still, given that now the moon is in her dark moon phase on Friday, you will get the answer you need. And this also goes back to what we said on Monday about praying, about receiving divine guidance from spirit, from God, from source energy. So if you're needing a timeline or you want to give something to the universe, be like, by Friday, reveal to me what's in my highest good. By Friday, please give me clarity around love. By Friday, I will know the answer. I mean, you can give whatever timeline, but I think that given the end of the week and having this moon Pluto and then having moon sextiling Neptune as well, the clarity, the intuition is just going to be on point. This could also be an energy too on Friday where you're just seeing all the synchronicities, the angel numbers, your intuition is on fire, because that's one thing that is really beneficial with the dark moon phase, is that if we can do the spiritual work, if we can slow down, it's so clear what needs to be released and to let go for this new cycle to occur. And some of you might already be feeling that, where it just is more obvious, or you're building on what needs to be released, given new truths or extreme clarity that happens on Friday. Now, Saturday and Sunday, we're working with the same energy here, given that the moon is going to be in Aquarius the entire time. Of course, you can now see moon, Mercury, Saturn, and the sun all in Aquarius. So the weekend is going to be very much focused on that part of your chart, especially on Saturday with the moon getting a sextile to Jupiter. This is really great. Or what I'm kind of feeling as well is that you might be already receiving downloads, or you might be partaking in new energy. Or this can be a sense, especially on Saturday with the moon conjunct Mercury, is your mindset is already shifting to that new level, to the new expansion. You're already getting clear downloads or evidence that that new part of your life is taking off. So trust in that, because sometimes it comes through as a whisper, or it's just one thought. I think, like we said on Friday with the moon Pluto conjunction, now with moon Mercury conjunction, sextiling Jupiter, it will be very, very obvious what you need to do, what you need to invest in. Remember, Mercury also rules over commerce, but what actions need to take place to expand and to get to that next level. Sunday, the sun moves into Pisces, and we're right on the heels of that new moon. So for me, especially with the moon making that conjunction to Saturn, slow down. self-care, get the rest. If you've been adhering to my recommendations all week long, you're going to want to just sleep, enjoy. Also, another fun aspect is that we have Venus making a sextile to Pluto. So you might be doing other fun, relaxing things where you don't need to work, where you can just have a lot of fun and be pleasured or go out and do something enjoyable with a loved one. There's no need to do anything extensive. There might be a temptation to like want to work or put this additional pressure on yourself. However, given that we're in the dark moon phase, I would strongly recommend to release, to relax, and let go. Okay. So for the astrology question of the week, I just want to pull this up because it was a really good question regarding Saturn, Saturn returns, how we can compare difficulty given that Saturn is about to move into Pisces on March 7th. I received this question from Carmen. Hey, Carmen. I have a question about Saturn. Saturn is currently in my 4th house and has been squaring a lot of my natal placements. Nodes, Moon, Venus, Jupiter, Pluto in Taurus and Scorpio. But I haven't even gotten to my Saturn return in Pisces yet. Which do you think is more difficult, Saturn in Aquarius or a Saturn return? I'm also feeling relieved for it to be in Pisces, but hear so many scary things about Saturn returns. Curious to know your perspective. So here's the thing. Saturn always gets a bad rap because it is a malefic planet, because it does stay in each sign for about 2.5 to 3 years. And the notion of Saturn returns have become more and more buzzworthy ever since astrology has gotten more popular. So if we're breaking down this question from Carmen, it is something to note that Carmen was saying that they have a lot of placements in Taurus and Scorpio. So having Saturn in a sign that is squaring those placements is going to be very challenging. And Saturn on its own is asking us to go higher, to exert more boundaries, to have more discipline, to extend our work ethic. These things aren't usually, for most people, what they would consider enjoyable or fun. However, when we are successful in placing a boundary, when we achieve great results in our career or in our work based on the time and the mastery that we take, that's immense power. Like when you say no to someone confidently, that's power. When you know that you can get through a certain amount of work in a certain amount of time and be confident in your success or in the quality of your work, that's power. If we're talking about which one is more difficult, yes, of course, there'll be times during your Saturn return that will feel challenging, but if you're up to the challenge, it can be very expansive. This is a good question, though, for someone that has a lot of fixed energy and a unique question with someone going into their Saturn return. I would personally say that given that Jupiter is going to be in Taurus between mid-May of 2023 and mid-May of 2024, that's already a huge blessing because Jupiter is making a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. So now you have a Saturn return where you're getting support from Jupiter for the first year of your Saturn return. And for those of you that had prominent fixed energy in your chart, you're leaving something that's extremely difficult for Saturn to be more productive in what it wants to do in that area of your life. So to extend on this question, I could talk about Saturn a lot, so I'm going to buckle up. And I think I might also, please let me know in the comments. I've been playing around with this idea of offering a Saturn in Pisces support group or an offering where we meet up each week in March so I can hold space, reveal more about Saturn returns, and then also look at everyone's chart to let them know specifically where that Saturn energy is likely to manifest. And then I can repackage it and just have as an offering for people who are excited about Saturn going into Pisces. If that's something you're curious about, let me know in the comments and I can put more energy behind it. I just have a lot on my plate with everything in my life right now. But if that is something that people would be interested in, please let me know. So what I was saying is if you have, this is for everyone, not just for people that have Saturn in Pisces, but if you have a lot of mutable energy in your chart, so Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, with Saturn moving into Pisces, those areas are going to be activated or maybe feel more challenging. The good news is that you want to look at the degree in which Saturn is compared to your mutable placements. So let's say a lot of your mutable planets are at like 20 to 29 degrees. Yes, you'll still have a sign-based square, opposition, or conjunction, but that effect of Saturn making its more prominent influence won't happen until 2024, 2025. So it's not really to worry about. Even, and this is true for anyone's Saturn return, the more intense parts of that Saturn return will be felt when Saturn is exactly conjunct your natal Saturn. So if your Saturn is at 5 degrees of Pisces, once Saturn in transit is at 5 degrees Pisces, that's when it's going to feel more prominent or more like you're going through a lot of energy and really working with Saturn to expand, to grow, to overcome those challenges. From a personal experience, I had my direct Saturn return end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And if I look back at that time, not that it wasn't challenging. At that point in my life, what I was doing for work and discipline was a lot, but it's laughable now, which is the whole point of a Saturn return. It's like looking back from the end to your start of your Saturn return and being like, that is so easy. If I thought that that amount of work was hard, then I grew successfully in your Saturn return. So I want to give that advice and that clarity for everyone to disband or demystify Saturn returns. Is if you put in the work, then you grow so much. You become master of certain parts of your life where no one can take away that autonomy or those mindsets or that energy that you've accumulated. That's true power. And maybe it might not be immediate or feel good like a Venus or a Jupiter transit, but you're in it for the long game. So if you can work with Saturn, he will bestow the blessings. He'll give you that cosmic allowance. So it's a great time to show up for yourself. No, it won't be easy all the time. No, it won't feel pleasant all the time, but you're going to look back after that transit, after those 3 years, and it'll be very evident the work that took place to get you to where you want to be. And of course, this depends on your temperament. If you have a dignified Saturn or good Saturn energy in your chart, you probably already have this discipline and this mindset already. And for those that don't, then this is a transit that gets to incorporate some of that. And it's only meant to serve your highest good. That's why I'm always confused when people will say, I'm really scared about this transit. I got this last week when I talked about the South Node moving into Libra or like Pluto and Aquarius. People are getting worried. One, your soul chose to be in this timeline, but secondly, it's all meant to serve you, to elevate you, to help you go through experiences, to experience life at a greater degree. So there's nothing to be scared about. But, and I know I went on a bit of a tangent or a rampage here, I trust that that helps to clarify certain things around Saturn and Saturn returns. Like I said, if there's enough interest for those of you who are going to be experiencing your Saturn return when Saturn moves into Pisces on March 7th, please let me know, because if that is something that people want, then I'll put the effort to make that available. And if there's any follow-up questions around Saturn, Saturn returns, or anything else that's come up from this talk, please let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them in a future video. Thank you all for watching. Have a phenomenal week ahead, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.